And we're live.
That's bad parenting is what that is. Like I used to
is.
think it was bad parenting when we would play like Modern Warfare 2 and we would hear like tiny children in there because I knew what a lobby was like, right? Like the kinds of things that people would say to each other. I was playing Rust today and there was a child in there. A child, a literal like 10-year-old
Was he impressed
child.
with the size of your cock in game?
That's part of the that's the first thing I was going to go to that like dude, you nice dick, homo.
Yeah, right.
I was like, dude, did your parents at least click the button that censors the vaginas and the penises? So you know,
No,
so
but your
everybody...
mom said it was fine when I was fucking her last night.
Shit. And it's a rough game. People are mean. People are more ruthless in Rust than any other game I've ever played in my life because
Call of Duty.
it's so much more ruthless than Call of Duty. People make friends in Call of Duty.
Right.
Nobody ever made a friend in Rust. You make enemies in Rust. We hate our neighbors. We literally hate them.
Just fire shots at him.
We just hate them. They built a goddamned ladder up the side of our base. We didn't know you could do that. They jumped in the top of the base, and our base was like this spiral staircase that goes down, and there's a door every level that only we can lock. And blowing up a door in this game, you might as well go to the moon. You got to have some serious assets to make that happen. So like they kill us, but we respawn in our secret spawn point, like outside the base. So we keep going in the bottom of our own base and like going up levels and trying to stop them at level 3, at level 2, at level 1, and they just keep killing us. And by the time they get to level 1, they have access to everything. When we finally get back, they've cleared the place out of everything valuable and destroyed or allowed to despawn anything that they couldn't carry away.
In Minecraft, what you would do, just as a building tip, I don't know if it fits Rust, you build a safe room in your base that you respawn in. And then when you respawn in there, it has all the equipment you need to come out as a badass.
Woody,
no?
Woody, we do that too.
Okay.
They got to that room and they cut our sleeping bags up. We had to spawn in our backups. No, that's our spawn point.
Oh,
like
okay.
now we can't spawn. We wake up in these sleeping bags. Once they did that, I have a backup sleeping bag in a hidden base 50 yards away that looks like garbage. I come back into there. I go back to the fight, and by this time they've gone. So I lock all the doors back up so they can't get back in. Well, while I'm doing all that, they go to my backup base over there and blow the walls off of it. There's nothing in there but my sleeping bag, Woody. They cut it to shreds. They cut it to
That's
shreds.
funny. In Minecraft, there's certain advantages to fighting in your own base. Like, you can build, you can do this, you can do that. Things that you can't do as an invader.
Of course.
So
yeah.
if you respawn and have equipment, you should be able to win even if you're not as good. But I guess Rust is
there were
different.
more of them. There was only 2 of us, and there was 3 or 4 of them, and they did not speak English, but I could tell they were cursing at us in fucking Polish or something like that. And like I wish they'd spoken English because maybe I
You
could
got
have gotten
outwitted by a couple Poles.
fucking Polacks.
How did you get outwitted by Polish people, Kyle?
How many Polacks does it take to take Kyle's base? 4. It takes 4 Polacks to take Kyle's base away from him. And we're on a new server now. I didn't want to play with those dirty Poles anymore.
They must
now
be so happy. I wonder if
we're
they
the
know you.
assholes now, huh?
I wonder if they know you.
No, I haven't.
You're FPS Kyle in game, right?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
but you know, they didn't.
They're
see.
Polish. There's no Y's or X's or K's.
They didn't.
There's
seek
only
me
X's
out.
and K's.
This game is like one of those scary post-apocalyptic movies where like everybody wants your shit
Kyle had none.
really, really badly because your shit is valuable, and if they kill you, they've just doubled their shit. And if they could ever take your base, they're wealthy now, and so that's what we're going to do now. Now we have a base now, and I'm like, all right, here's our list of to-dos. First, we build a base. We build a base that they can't get into. Build walls, and then they're like, all right, well they can't get in now. No, now build exterior walls. Well, they can't get it out. Now build traps between those 2 walls. And so now our base is impenetrable unless they want to waste an enormous amount of resources. Like an incomprehensible amount of resources it would take. They'd have to work for 2 weeks, 6-man squads working to earn enough materials to get into our base at this point. Now, let's find some people to just destroy. All we're doing now is working to mine sulfur and get bean can grenades so that we can make C4 so that we can blow the doors off of enemy bases and eliminate every neighbor that's within sight.
Dude,
Conquer.
there's so much
we're
in
the bad
common
guys now.
with the game that you play and the game that I used to run. It's hilarious. And like the resources it would take, right? They would so in Minecraft there's all you can automate. But these things only work if you're there. So
Yeah.
we started kicking them off the server if they're not actively playing. So they build like perpetual motion machines that keep their people floating around rivers. So then we do a workaround on that. Now all of a sudden they're bouncing around on fence posts or whatever the hell it is that they're doing. And like you're like, oh, it takes them weeks to get the resources to invade us. Dude. They'd be like 120 walls thick on our server, and they would spend weeks building resources to do it. That's the whole point of the game. They just play 24 hours
the whole
a
point of
day
this game too.
for 6 months, and they'd raid each other. And like you said, dude, if I get into your base, the rewards are great. They become so rich in the process of getting ready to invade you. A lot of the purpose is just so that you know you got raided.
Yeah,
Right.
like a legitimate raid is a serious thing.
Mm.
Like there are like little raids for somebody just coming and fucking with you, and they're just
Yeah.
shooting you when you come out of your house and you lose what's on you. That's just annoyances. But if somebody actually has C4 and like grenade launch or rocket launchers, then they have spent some time to get this shit. A lot of
Build
time.
resources.
100 hours per man, and there's 6 men. They've spent a lot of fucking time, and so if they're using that on you, they mean business.
Yeah.
They're not gonna just leave. They're here to fuck you up, and you can't get off. You got to keep defending it. You got to keep like repairing shit and building walls and trying to shoot them and take some of their. If you could ever kill them all and take all their C4 away from them, then the tables have turned. Then maybe.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot in common between that and
Yeah,
factions.
it's a lot of fun.
Dude,
It's high
people would
stakes.
have special skill sets. Like raiding took an engineering level, a knowledge of circuitry, to build these cannons that would launch things and being able to diagnose it and see it was something else. And other people might be PvP experts. You need them too.
Right.
There are people who make trap bases. Was that ever a thing in Minecraft?
What's a trap base?
Essentially, it looks like a regular base, but there's a lot of ways to do a trap base. But one of the most common ones is that it appears vulnerable. The door's left open, or maybe there is no door. But when you walk in, maybe there's an automated shotgun that insta kills you, or maybe you are literally trapped in a room with a glass window in it, and a guy comes on the other side and he goes, "Hey there, buddy, how you doing?
Oh,
Pick
yeah.
a door." And he'll torture them. Like he'll find a way to
For
torture them.
hours.
Like he'll find a creative way to kill them, or he'll like make fun of them, and he'll be like, "All right, take all your clothes off."
We did that. So
Damn.
we would build our
Puts the
base
motion
in
on
a
the
spot
skin.
where you couldn't build a base because we're admins, right? And it was right outside spawn, so it was really like everyone could find it and see it. And it was almost like a server feature. And then the front door was a trap. You'd walk in there and pistons would start automatically smashing you, and then the water would harvest all your armor and put it in our chests. And it was so Minecrafty. But it turns out that like just the presence of doors and walls, people could glitch and bad things would happen. And you would build your base in a way to resist glitches. And
Right.
It just turned out the traps were a vulnerability.
Yeah, there are YouTubers who really kind of specialize in that, creating these very difficult to build trap bases. Electricity, I think, again, I'm a Rust noob, but I think electricity is kind of a newish thing to that game. And so they've added in like ways to wire up laser tripwires and all these switches and stuff. And so the guys who really invested time to learn how to wire all that shit up and then hide the wiring with buildings, they have these rooms where there are stores in game where a guy will set up a store, right? Where he has like, at the scary gas stations, how you like put your money in the slot and like send it over, and he sends over your Snickers. They have a system like that in game. You can build that so that, and people will be like, "Hey, I'm selling sulfur. I 500 sulfur for 10,000 wood or whatever the fuck you're doing." And like they'll come up and you'll swap goods at one of these windows. Well, this guy sets up his store, and as soon as you walk in, he goes click clink, and a garage door just closes behind you, and you're just like, well, wait a minute, I was here to buy the jackhammer.
You're like, oh.
thanks for closing the door. There's scary guys out there. They want to kill me. But do you have that jackhammer? He's like, yeah. Let me just open the door. And he pulls another switch, and a different garage door opens up with 3 automatic shotguns behind it. And they just, and then he just goes in and takes all of this guy's loot. And he's just farming all day, of course, until you piss off the wrong person.
Right.
Who has friends, and then they all come back and they start blowing your shit up with C4
As like a
and
group.
grenades. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Sounds like a fun game.
Fun.